137 feet of Italian super yacht excellence. This is a 2023 Custom Line Navetta 42. What's up everyone? Welcome back to another episode. Today, I have the pleasure of taking you on board a 2023 Custom Line Navetta 42. Now this Italian super yacht has always been used privately, so it's never been chartered. And on board, we have over $4.5 million in factory upgrades. This yacht was built to MCA compliance. It's presented for sale by the Italian Yacht Group. So let's go ahead and get started with this Custom Line Navetta 42 super yacht tour. And one of the upgrades right off the bat I wanted to talk about, this yacht features an Atlas shore power converter, so no matter where you are in the world, you're going to be able to hook up to shore power with zero issues on your systems. And also before we head on board, you'll see at the back of the yacht, this massive transom wall that folds down for your large swim platform. You could do some morning yoga out here, or just have some chairs and a little table like this. Either way, it gets you nice and close to the water. And we'll head down into this beach club later on. But I'm sure you're ready to actually get on board. So we're gonna do so over here. We're just gonna slip our shoes off. And right away, I think there's a crew member working on it currently, but you get a little sneak peek at another one of the optional upgrades originally. This yacht features fold-out balconies on either side of the dining room. So you can really open up this yacht from the inside. And we'll make our way on board via this side gate. So we will step up through the side boarding gate onto this beautiful aft deck area. From an interior design perspective, and technically this part is the exterior, I think they did a fantastic job with the styling. It's extremely high-end, but you still have that beautiful Italian flair. So you can see this large U-shaped seating section. And the owners opted for no alfresco dining on this level, but we do have that capability upstairs. And then on these San Lorenzos, I love these little touches of extra detail. You have the very wide piece of teak for your railing. I think that just elevates things over this traditional stainless steel. And then also, as we make our way back, you'll see there's a powered awning overhead. And then I think we'll head down to the swim platform now. So you can see it up close and personal. Then also down here, as mentioned, this is a mini beach club area. So you could store a bunch of toys in here. And then I believe we have additional refrigeration, or I think this is actually a freezer. So it's nice to have this additional storage space. And then this door will lead us over to some technical areas, but we will see the engine room later on in the tour. And also in here, I see one handle here. It looks like we have a drawer refrigerator. This yacht has such a beautiful presence in the water. I'm sure you already noticed that from the intro. But now we're gonna make our way inside. But one more thing I wanted to highlight before we head inside, one thing I really like on these San Lorenzos, I think they do a great job of incorporating the staircases into the superstructure of the ship. So instead of a staircase that's jutting out into this area, the staircase is tucked away into the actual structure. All right, now we're gonna make our way inside, and this door is powered, although the button is hidden right over here. Completely silent doors, and these can be opened up even further. Now take a look at this stunning interior. We have another massive U-shaped sofa. And we also have extremely large windows on either side, so you get tons of natural light that flood in. Of course, right now we're at the boat show, so we have yachts tied up on either side of us, blocking the views. But as you can imagine, when you're actually out on the water, sitting down on the couch, you just get incredible views from this space. And then if we continue forward, here is your dining room. And then I mentioned the fold-out balconies, but those also include these powered glass doors.
Hello, good morning, welcome back. Thank you. Hey, how are you?
And we have the same thing on the other side, so you can see what it looks like when it's not out on display. One thing I noticed during my preview walk, on every single level, you get so much volume. I think they did a really good job with the design, with maximizing the space. When I say design, I mean from an actual engineering perspective for this model. You just get so much real estate to play with. And then as you would expect, your owner's suite is located on the main deck. So here is the staircase down to the guest cabins, and the staircase going up is hidden on the opposite side. I like how all the veins in the wood match up. And this is the day head. And here is a preview of some of the gorgeous stone that they opted for. And these were custom upgrades. And we'll see more of that in the owner suite, which you'll find right through this door. So right away, you're greeted by an office space. You have bookshelves on the other side. Before we actually get into the room, you have your walk-in wardrobe. And then finally, we can continue forward into the actual suite. You'll see a massive TV on the wall. And then we have all the custom linens and furnishings. You can see your king-size bed. And I must say, for me, I love a blue and white color palette, so this is absolutely doing it for me. You can see an additional closet right over here, and also very large windows. So once again, you get both the natural light and the fantastic views from your cabin. And then stepping forward, here is one side of the ensuite. And you'll see this stretches the full width of the yacht. And on board this yacht, you'll find it's called Invisible Black Marble. And that's a very nice upgrade. And I think it matches extremely well with the rest of the stone. And then we're not going to walk all the way through the shower. But if we come around, we'll be able to check it out from the other side. And on this side, you have the additional toilet as well as the bidet. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, then welcome. My name is Tony. We love touring yachts and super yachts, so make sure you subscribe so you never miss a future upload. And also, if you're enjoying the video thus far, make sure you leave a like on the video. Any engagement you leave helps out the channel a ton, so I greatly appreciate it. Now, we're going to head down to the additional guest cabins. And on this model, they opted to have 5 guest cabins in total. So they definitely could have crammed 6 in, but I think for the sake of having larger guest cabins, 5 makes a lot of sense. And also, oftentimes on super yachts, you'll find that there's I guess we'll call it a hierarchy of the different guest cabins, where normally there's 1 or 2 VIP suites, and then they get a little bit smaller and smaller as you go down the rooms. But on this super yacht, they opted to have 4 identical VIP cabins. So no one's going to be feeling left out, or at least the lesser chosen friend. And these rooms, they're very dark and moody. You have large TVs on the wall, just like upstairs. And also, just like before, you wouldn't expect anything less. We have all of the vein-matched wood panels. And then that same stunning stone, like you find upstairs, all of that is included in these en-suites. as well as a frosted door to the water closet. And then I don't think I showed you the closet in the other room, so I'll show you this now. And if we head across the hall, like I said, all four of these are very comparable in size. And then last but not least, cabin number 4 is located right back here. Although I guess technically, maybe we can refer to this one as the VIP cabin, because although from a size perspective they're all very similar, this one does feature the double vanity. So technically, they're not all completely the same, but still from a size, furnishings, closet space perspective, they are all very similar. Although I just wanted to double check, I imagine this one also has the double vanity. All right. We have now seen all 4 guest cabins as well as the owner's suite. Now we're back up to the main deck and we can access the galley through this hallway, but I also want to show how it connects via the dining room. So if we come back out through here, you can loop around and this enters a prep space. You'll also find a dumbwaiter, and this will go all the way up to the sun deck. There's a side access door. And then continuing forward, here is the galley. We have a beautiful mix of appliances in here. I'm trying to get the camera to focus. I know it's very dark in here, and it's actually much brighter in person. I think because we have the dark finishes, it's a little bit harder to see on camera. You can see your commercial appliances. Looks like a Gaggenau oven. So all very high-end stuff. And then also, I'll show you how this connects to the other side of the hallway. We have this door, which brings you back out to the foyer. And then down this hallway, this is where the crew mess is located. As you can see, you have obviously a lot smaller windows. There is one window here, so they went with a much lighter finish, which makes sense from a lighting perspective. And then here you can see a couple of the cabins. And then we have 2 more down the hall. And these are the bunk rooms. And then here is the laundry room. And there's also a sink on the far side of the room. And then the crew also has this secondary staircase so they can get up to the bridge deck from this area. But we're going to take the staircase designed for the guests, and this will lead us directly into the Sky Lounge, which is another very large space. You can definitely see how this is laid out in a little bit more of a casual setting. You have a massive sofa right here, but it's also really deep, so you can lay down here. And you have the large TV on this opposite side. Let me just stand all the way over to the aft doors so you can take in how large this space is. And just like downstairs, we have extremely large windows, so you get lots of natural light. It's very bright and spacious in here. And they also added this round table for, like I said, still very luxurious, but maybe slightly more casual of a setup. And even on this level, you have the side access doors on each side. More specifically, they're the sliding glass doors. So just like downstairs, you can really open up the space. Then also, you have this massive pane of glass, so make sure you don't walk into that. And then if we head forward, you'll find a wine fridge, a larger refrigerator. Essentially, this is the stew prep area for this level. You can see the dumbwaiter, which comes up to here. This will be the day head for this level. And just like before, that beautiful block marble. And then here is the staircase, which leads down to the crew area. And then through this door, this is where we find the bridge. And on a modern, luxurious Italian super yacht like this, of course, we're going to have a modern suite of controls. So we have 4 large multifunction displays, in addition to the 2 extra screens for the monitoring systems for the yacht. And we also have these vertical windows, so you get great visibility from this space. And there are also side access doors, once again, on each side of the bridge. So it's very easy to make your way around this yacht, whether you're a guest or a crew member. And then behind, we have the bench. And also, like every proper super yacht should have, we have the captain's cabin located just aft of the bridge. And this is finished so nicely in here. You have that same beautiful woodwork like you find in the other areas. A large TV, and also the monitoring systems for the yacht directly on the wall. So the captain will always have situational awareness of what's going on the ship. And the crew downstairs, you probably saw it, they also have a screen to monitor the yacht as well. But even the captain gets a rainfall shower. All right, I think it's time we made our way outside. We're still heading to one of my favorite areas on this yacht. For me personally, during my preview walk, I think the sun deck was my favorite space, so we'll get there momentarily. And just like downstairs, these doors are powered, although there's a button over on the wall. And just like downstairs, these doors, super quiet, no squeaking whatsoever. And then here, this is your primary place for an alfresco meal. You can see you're covered by the hardtop overhead. And then we also have these glass panels to block out some of the wind. And then just aft of this, we have some freestanding furniture, which it's very similar to the furniture down below. So they're keeping a very similar theme. And then underneath in these areas, we have another drawer refrigerator and some storage, and more storage over on this side. Also, I'm a fan of these round chairs located over here. It's always nice when you have flexible seating. You can pick these up, move them over to the far side. So if you want to hang out right here and socialize, very easy to do so. And then we also, of course, have speakers built into the ceiling. And it's a very bright day here in Palm Beach, so the lights aren't on, but there's also lighting built into the ceiling. And then here's the staircase that brings us down to the aft deck where we started the tour. And then this staircase leads us up to the sun deck. And I know I was teasing it before that this is one of my favorite places. We're gonna go there in just a moment, I promise. But first, we're gonna head up to the foredeck. I think we'll save the best for last with the sun deck. So if we head over on the port side, you will get an up-close look at this fold-out balcony. And then we'll head up the stairs. Here's the side access door to the crew area. And then you'll also see the next side access door. That's the one for the bridge. and you'll see that this yacht features wing stations on either side. And if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you know I'm always harping. These yachts, I definitely think they should utilize the foredeck space, and this yacht does an incredible job of that. You'll see right here we have a space for storage. And then a fantastic seating arrangement with the teak tables. And just in front of that, we have the sun pads. And then all the way forward, we have the bell. And this is more of the business end. You have the winches, you can see your anchor chain. But there's one more place to sit up here. And then also, we do have a tender garage located on the port side aft. So right in front of the beach club, essentially, next to the engine room. But also under this panel, there is a space for storage. So I believe you can store a jet ski in this area, or just additional water toys. And then there's a small crane that will release it out into the water. All right, that definitely passes the test for me. It's a very well utilized space, both from a utility perspective with the additional storage and the crane, but then also from the usability for the owner and the guests. Then I think the easiest way into the engine room will actually be through this door. So we will just slide this across. And I promise, guys, I'm not gonna forget about the sun deck. It's very much on my mind, but I'm gonna keep you waiting a little bit longer. If we come down in here, we'll enter the control room. And then you have two directions to go, both with watertight doors. Let's open up this one. I believe this is the tender garage. My assumption was correct. So as you can see, there's a garage door on the far side of the room, and then you have your Williams jet tender. And you have some space for additional toys on the far end of the room. And as you can see, you can refuel right over here. On a yacht of this size, it's very impressive to have a garage like that. I like how it's not bigger than it needs to be. It just simply gets the job done. No more, no less. And I'm gonna set the camera down for 1 second. This door's a little tight. There we go. We always like to leave things as we found it. And then if we come over to this side, here is where we'll find the engines. Look at these bad boys. You of course have more engineering spaces along the sides. You have water makers on board. I think I mentioned before, you have a very great range capability. I'll tell you about it in just a second. But you'll also see the generators back there. And then these engines are a pair of Cat C32 Acer V12 engines. You have a top speed of 16 knots. You can cruise at 13, and this yacht has a range of approximately 3,000 nautical miles. So you can definitely explore all over the world on this one. So having that shore power upgrade, it's definitely a great option to have. All right. Once again, we'll leave that as we found it. And we'll head back up the stairs. So we're back up on the bridge deck aft, and I've kept you waiting long enough. Now we're gonna head up to my favorite spot on this yacht, which is the sun deck. So let's go. One thing I loved, you'll notice it right when we make our way up here. They kept the superstructure very minimal up here on the sun deck. So we have this beautiful glass railing that wraps around over half of the sun deck area. Take a look at this, guys. For me, this is absolutely stunning. But before we move forward, I will start all the way aft. This section is not covered by the hardtop, and we have this custom row of sun pads flanking all the way across. And then you do have the hardtop built in overhead with the built-in speakers and the lighting, so at night you'll get a fantastic ambiance up here. And then for the back half, this is where we have the stainless steel railings. Although they're actually not super thick. The top bars are, but the bottom ones aren't, so it's still pretty stylish. And then on the front half, we have the glass, and I'll point that out when we get up there. But then you'll see, just like downstairs, we have the same style of furniture up here. And then moving forward, this bar area is fantastic. We have the 4 chairs and a slightly lower edge for the bar. And then behind that, you have the sink and everything you need to cater to this area. So you have refrigeration, you have the grills, and then I believe underneath this section here, this is the door to the dumbwaiter. So if you need something brought up, the crew can easily do so. And then on the other side of the bar, those same chairs that I really like. We had another set on the bridge deck aft, if you remember. And then here is the glass railing I was talking about. This really elevates the space on this front half. And also heading forward, this is everyone's favorite, at least for me it is. You have the hot tub in the middle and the sun pads flanking either side. All wrapped in the glass, so whether you're laying on the sun pad, chilling in the hot tub, you get a fantastic view. I don't think there's anything I can complain about up here on the sun deck. As mentioned, this is my favorite area on board. And all right, guys, I think we've seen every area on board. A huge thank you to the Italian Yacht Group for granting me access on board. I'll link this listing down in the description. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this one. If you had a favorite area, I want to hear it. I think that's it for now. Thanks again for watching, and we will catch you next time.